Welcome to World Code Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. The dawn of a new era. These were headlines that didn't just inform but electrified an entire nation, sending shockwaves through every corner of the Philippines. In the heart of Manila, newsstands overflowed with eager readers, and giant LED screens flashed a single staggering message: the Philippines is sitting on a $26 trillion energy jackpot. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the city itself was holding its breath. Energy revolution begins! Could the Philippines become the next Dubai? Screamed one headline, echoing the hopes and dreams of millions. The idea was almost unthinkable, yet suddenly, it was everywhere. The story felt like fiction, a nation long dependent on imported fuel now standing on the brink of true energy independence. Families huddled around televisions, their faces a mix of disbelief and hope, as they tried to grasp the magnitude of what was unfolding. International geological surveys and government estimates painted a picture of unimaginable wealth hidden beneath the waves of the West Philippine Sea. The promise of vast oil and gas reserves was no longer a distant dream, but a tangible reality. For Filipinos, this was more than a discovery. It was a seismic shift in national consciousness. Suddenly, the future looked brighter, and the impossible seemed within reach. Conversations erupted everywhere, from the grand halls of Malacanang Palace to the humble fishing villages of Palawan. In markets, schools and homes, people debated what this windfall could mean for their lives and for generations to come. Geologists and scientists spoke with excitement about world-class oil and gas reserves, potentially placing the Philippines among the ranks of global energy giants. The scale of the discovery was unprecedented, and experts from around the world took notice. The urgency was real. This was about more than just wealth. It was about sovereignty, national security, and the hope for a future free from the volatility of global markets. The nation's leaders knew the stakes had never been higher. Social media exploded with pride and optimism. Hashtags like #PinoyPower and #EnergyRevolution trended for days, uniting Filipinos from all walks of life in a shared sense of hope and possibility. The discovery promised not just unimaginable wealth but a transformation that could lift millions out of poverty. For families struggling to make ends meet, it was a beacon of hope, a chance for better jobs, better schools, and a brighter tomorrow. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to rewrite the country's story, from struggling and dependent to self-reliant and prosperous. The skyline of Manila seemed to shimmer with new possibilities. The headlines ignited a national dream, sparking conversations about what the Philippines could achieve with this newfound treasure. With so much at stake, the question on everyone's mind was clear. With this wealth within reach, what will the nation do next? The world was watching closely as the first chapter of the Philippines' energy revolution began to unfold. International media descended on Manila, eager to witness history in the making. The question now: how will the Philippines seize this moment? The choices made today will shape the nation's destiny for generations. The world waits, and so does the nation, on the edge of a new era. The $26 trillion question. Let's take a closer look at what these numbers really mean for the Philippines, and why they've captured the nation's imagination. $26.30 trillion, an almost unimaginable sum. To put it in perspective, that's more than 60 times the country's annual GDP. It's a figure so large, it could transform the entire economic landscape of the Philippines, putting it on par with some of the world's wealthiest nations. The reserves, up to 11 billion barrels of oil and 190 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, represent a potential windfall. If harnessed wisely, these resources could fund massive improvements in infrastructure, education, and healthcare, uplifting millions of lives and building a stronger foundation for future generations. Achieving energy independence would mean no longer relying on costly imports. This could stabilize fuel prices, protect the economy from global shocks, and allow billions of pesos to be redirected toward domestic priorities like social services and public works. Developing this sector could create hundreds of thousands of high-paying jobs, not just in extraction, but in engineering, logistics, research, and support industries across the country. This could even help reverse the brain drain, encouraging skilled Filipinos to return home and contribute their expertise, while inspiring the next generation to pursue careers in science and technology. Government royalties from oil and gas could be invested in a sovereign wealth fund, creating a financial safety net and securing prosperity for generations yet to come. But it's important to remember, this is potential, not guaranteed cash. Realizing these benefits depends on successful extraction, favorable global prices, and negotiating fair, transparent deals with energy companies. The journey from potential to prosperity is only just beginning. It will require vision, discipline, and unity to turn these resources into real, lasting progress. The prize is immense, but so are the challenges: geological, economic, and geopolitical. Navigating these obstacles will test the nation's resolve and leadership. The Philippines now stands at the threshold of a new era, one filled with hope, opportunity, and the promise of a brighter future for all. Echoes of success: lessons from Malaysia and Indonesia. In this section, we look back at the journeys of two Southeast Asian neighbors who once faced crossroads similar to those the Philippines faces today. Decades ago, Malaysia and Indonesia stood where the Philippines stands now, nations blessed with abundant natural resources, brimming with potential, and eager to rise on the world stage. Their stories offer a mirror, reflecting both the opportunities and the risks that come with newfound wealth. Malaysia's state-owned oil company Petronas became a catalyst for national transformation. By channeling oil revenues into infrastructure, education, and the creation of a sovereign wealth fund, Malaysia sought to avoid the so-called resource curse that has plagued other nations. This strategic approach helped build roads, schools, and a more resilient economy. Indonesia too experienced an economic boom that lifted millions out of poverty. However, the rapid growth also exposed deep challenges: corruption, uneven distribution of wealth, and regional tensions that threaten stability. The nation's experience is a reminder that prosperity can be fragile if not managed wisely. The key lesson is clear: oil is just the beginning. It is not a guarantee of lasting prosperity, but rather a starting point for broader development. True success depends on strong governance, transparency, and a long-term vision that prioritizes the well-being of all citizens. Without these, even the greatest resource windfalls can slip away. The question now is whether the Philippines will invest in its people, infrastructure, and future, or fall prey to the temptations of short-term gains and mismanagement. The choices made today will echo for generations. Malaysia and Indonesia demonstrate that energy resources can either build nations or break them, depending on how they are managed. The Philippines stands at a crossroads, able to learn from both the triumphs and the mistakes of its neighbors. Their experiences are a valuable guide for what to do and what to avoid. The real challenge is not just in discovering oil, but in deciding what comes next. How to turn this resource into lasting progress for all Filipinos. Ultimately, governance will determine whether this blessing becomes a curse or a foundation for a brighter future. The nation's future truly hinges on the choices made now. The path forward is uncertain, but with wisdom and resolve, the Philippines can shape its own destiny. The treasure map, pinpointing the reserves in the West Philippine Sea. The West Philippine Sea is the epicenter of the nation's energy fortune, with the Reed Bank as its crown jewel. Reed Bank alone could hold enough gas to power the country for generations, ending reliance on imports. Other sites like the Malampaya field add to this treasure map of energy independence. These reserves lie within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, affirmed by international law in 2016. Control over these resources is about sovereignty as much as economics. But the region is a geopolitical flashpoint, with overlapping claims and rising tensions. Accessing this wealth requires more than drilling. It demands diplomacy, defense, and political will. The map is clear, but the path is perilous. The nation must navigate these waters carefully to claim its prize. The greatest obstacle isn't technical, it's geopolitical. China's sweeping claims overlap the Philippines' legal rights, especially in the Reed Bank. Chinese patrols create a de facto blockade, stalling exploration and intimidating local vessels. Despite a 2016 legal victory, Beijing refuses to budge, creating a tense stalemate. The Philippines must balance assertion with caution, seeking alliances and international support. The battle is fought with diplomacy as much as ships. Unlocking the reserves means first winning the geopolitical struggle. Beyond geopolitics, technical and financial barriers loom large. Deep water extraction demands advanced technology, massive investment, and expertise the country is still building. Attracting foreign partners is essential, but deals must balance investor returns with national benefit. Poorly negotiated contracts risk giving away the nation's wealth, too restrictive, and investors walk away. Building refineries, pipelines, and power plants requires long-term planning and billions in capital. Transparent, skilled negotiation and anti-corruption measures are critical. The challenge is comprehensive, touching every link in the energy chain. Success depends on a unified national strategy and global partnerships. The stakes, a self-sufficient, energy-rich Philippines. Faced with these challenges, the government has launched a bold new strategy. In late 2024, Manila lifted the moratorium on West Philippine Sea exploration, signaling a commitment to energy independence. The Department of Energy is aggressively courting global investors, offering competitive terms and diversifying partnerships. Security alliances are being strengthened, with joint patrols and military upgrades to deter interference. Diplomacy with China continues, exploring joint development while upholding national rights. This dual-track approach, deterrence and dialogue, is a high-stakes gamble. The outcome will shape the nation's future for generations. The world is watching as the Philippines takes its shot. If the Philippines succeeds, the impact will be transformative. Massive government revenue could fund universal healthcare, education, and modern infrastructure. Energy independence would power industries, create jobs, and bring overseas workers home. The nation could shift from exporting labor to exporting energy and innovation. On the world stage, the Philippines would gain new influence and pride. The narrative would change, from struggling to leading, from dependent to dynamic. Wise investment could build a sustainable, diversified economy for future generations. The promise, a just, resilient, and prosperous Philippines. The opportunity is historic. The next steps will define the nation's destiny. July 7, 2025. The Philippines stands at a crossroads. Beneath its waters lies a treasure that could transform the nation. The path forward is clear but fraught with danger. Geopolitical conflict, technical hurdles, and the risk of corruption. The stakes, prosperity or missed opportunity, national pride or regret. Will the nation unite, build alliances, and demand accountability, or will division and mismanagement squander this chance? This is a test of national character and vision. The energy revolution has begun, but its outcome is uncertain. The world is watching. The choice is now. The future of the Philippines hangs in the balance.